So firstly, I would tell how it all started. Like you probably know, the protest started on 22nd of October, so it's going to be like 3 weeks from now on, after the decision of the tribunal that the law that has already been in Poland, that abortion are legal only in case of rape, in case of the fetus being totally damaged and having some illnesses that are not able to be cured, and if the pregnancy is going to hurt the woman if giving birth or during the time of pregnancy. So about that, the protest started, and firstly, the first week it was really loud in media about it. In general, politicians, like the leading party that we have now, Prawo i Sprawiedliwość, they were really not into that because it was kind of their move to make this law. So yeah, they were saying that people shouldn't go out on the street because there is a COVID right now and it's going to spread it. But some parties, the opposition ones, they were pretty for that, and they were saying that obviously the coronavirus is a problem, but the government taking our loss away is not the thing that should have been done. So yeah, it was really big, and the thing was that the protests started to have more and more anti-governmental look like, it wasn't it started obviously about abortion and stuff, but then it started to be really anti-governmental, and there were sometimes people during the marches or protests or different types of protesting that they were saying that of course having a right to abortion is important, but I'm here because I don't like our government, our leading party. So yeah, it was about it. And more about the protest was that the protests were pretty vulgar, I would say, because there were a lot of words that shouldn't have been spoken normally. Like the people were saying that the kids are on the streets and you shouldn't use bad words, let's call it like that, because a lot of these things that were scanded or yelled during those marches were really anti-governmental, and sometimes it was pretty rebellious. But the thing was that anybody, like the leading party that we have, was saying that we shouldn't have done it and it's a bad thing to do. But in general, nothing was really happening. Some people were arrested, of course. Sometimes police were pretty brutal, and they used tear gas and stuff like that. But in general, all of the marches that happened were really, it wasn't really uncomfortable to be in there. And people, the thing that was really a must-have, the people were saying that you have to have a mask on, and if you are feeling that you're sick, if you have your temperature above 37 degrees, you shouldn't have come here. And the organizers were pretty caring about it, that for people to behave the way not to spread coronavirus that much. I live in Łódź, so that's the this is a really big city in Poland, but it's not our capital. But there were protests sometimes that had 27,000 people on the street. But in general, people were trying to have some distance between people. So there were situations that you could have this 2 meters between people, but of course you know how the reality works, and sometimes it just didn't work. But yeah, organizers were really caring about the fact not to spread the coronavirus that much. In general, in Poland, we are not allowed to make bigger groups than 5 people. So all of the protests that happened were kind of illegal, but the police wasn't really they wasn't really, making the think about it. There were people arrested, of course, but not that much as you could think it was. There was the biggest one. It was the day before Halloween. Yeah, day before Halloween, it was the biggest protest in Warsaw. It is possible that there were around 150,000 people in Warsaw, in one time. And despite this protest in Warsaw, in the capital, there were protests all over the country. So it was the biggest day with the protests. And yeah, our president, who is obviously in the leading party right now, said that he doesn't think that the thing that our constitutional tribunal did should have been posted. There is a right in Poland. I don't know how it works in other countries. That's what the constitutional tribunal says. It doesn't have to be publicated. And it was what he said, and it was pretty weird because most of his party that he's in said that they agree with what the tribunal did. So it was really kind of PR thing, not to make women especially, but all the people on the streets more angry. But unfortunately, 2 days ago, when now the protests are getting not that big because of the situation with coronavirus, more and more people are getting infected and people are kind of scared. But protests are happening still. Tomorrow I'm going for a strike, so it's why I cannot be here with you. But the president said right now, when it's all getting a bit more silent, that he actually thinks that it should have been publicated immediately. So what he said before was really PR thing. I think it had a big impact on Polish politics, because, as I said, it started to be more anti-governmental, and in some surveys and polls, the leading party had the lowest score when it comes to people voting for them since 2015. But nothing more really happened despite of this. So, but when you wanna hear, maybe not a fun fact, but a fact that really happened, in 11th of November in Poland is an Independence Day, and there was a big march in Poland, in Warsaw. People not protesting, but being on a march because of the Independence Day. And the thing is that our Polish TV and the leading party said that it is all right that people are on the Independence Day, but when it was women striking, the news, in Polish television, were saying really weird things, left people are trying to break the country. Left people who are really into left side of the politics are going to spread the coronavirus and stuff like that. But then when the people went on the march during Independence Day, which I don't know if you heard about it or not, but it was more scary. It would be more scary for me to be on this protest, because people were shouting, people were really angry, and they weren't angry about the situation in Poland. They were angry at us, women and people protesting, because we shouldn't have done it, but they did the same. And our Polish television said that it's not really good that they did it, but it's all right. And when women went on the street, it was the worst thing they could do, because we are going to infect everyone. So yeah, that's it, I guess. If someone had more questions, you can just send the question to me privately, and I will answer to them.